What's up, bankers?
Hello, bankers.
How is everybody doing?
How are you doing? How was your New Year? How was your holidays? How are you feeling? 2026 is here. The new season is fast approaching, and we've got a lot to talk about today. Mainly, Sergio Pérez going fucking scorched earth on Red Bull.
Yes. Yep. He doesn't give us a minute to rest. I'm very excited. It's a great way to kick off the year, Brian.
Yes.
Everyone's talking about New Year's resolutions. I make the same resolution every year, Brian. You know what my resolution is? What? Not to change at all. Not to let anything change me. And I like this energy from Sergio Pérez. Just coming in hot. Let's fucking get into it.
We're gonna be talking about a lot of that. We're gonna talk about Sergio Pérez. We're gonna talk about the 2026, what's going on with these engines, and if there's time, maybe we'll talk about Oscar Piastri and Pierre Gasly hanging out with Lawrence Barretto and it being kind of awkward. But you know what? It was. But we learned things along the way. Of course, this is the Red Flags brought to you by BetMGM. But let's talk about Checo, baby, because he's been. It's like when you have a friend who was in a toxic relationship. They go away for a while, and then they come back, and they're just like, yeah, like, this is what actually was going on. And you're like, oh, my God, this is amazing. Tell me all of... They did what to you? Oh, they broke up with you while you were at a funeral? They broke up with you at a funeral?
On your birthday?
On your birthday at a funeral? Yeah, he did this podcast. It was all in Spanish, so I was like assuming that I wasn't going to be able to watch it. And I go on YouTube, it's all dubbed in English. So I was able to watch the whole goddamn thing. And I mean, where should we... He said so much in this thing. I mean, where should we even begin?
Well, can I just say that I'm here for everything he said. I'm glad he said it.
Yes.
I agree with probably most of the things that he said. We could go through each thing. But I do want to say that not a classy move. Not a classy move.
No.
It's actually
definitely not.
Terrible move. What you do in this situation is you get other people to say it for you, you know?
Right.
But like for you to say it, I learned a lesson. I remember our friend JG.
Uh-huh.
I have a fucked up car. My girlfriend like fucks up the car all the time. And so I needed a guy to do a body repair.
Right.
And JG was like, I got this guy. He's amazing. And in Silver Lake. So I go Echo Park area. So I go, he gives me the address. I pull into a place and I pull into the place and there's actually two body shops. They're connected. And I pull into and it's very confusing. I pull into the wrong body shop. And I go, is this Forever's? That's the name of the pub. I'm giving him a free shout out. Forever's. And he goes, no, that place is across the way. And he goes, but that guy's a fucking crook. That guy's a fucking crook. You don't want to trust him. He rip you off, blah, 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 blah. Like, let me take care of your car. And I was like, okay. And then I go, okay. Then I pull out and then I pull into the other place, the place my friend recommended.
Yeah.
And I go, hey, my friend recommended you. And he goes, okay, yeah, I could take care of you. And then I say, that other guy says you're all types of nasty things. And he just kind of like shrugged and said, okay, you know, and he didn't say one bad thing about him. He didn't say one bad thing about them. And I called my mentor, like a guy that really gives me advice on a lot of stuff that I look up to a lot. And he was like, the guy who didn't talk any shit, that's the guy you want to go to. Right. You know, don't go like, that's just, you don't want to, and I think we've done this too. Like whenever we have like a bad experience with somebody, we never like in a professional setting, like, yeah, we talk shit about them like in private, relentlessly.
If you ask me at the bar, I'll tell you.
At the bar, I'll tell you. But like, if we're in a professional setting, what do you think of so-and-so? Right. I don't say any, it's like, cause it actually looks bad on us if we're trashing somebody professionally. So that's my for if I was his career advisor, I would say that is not a good look for you. This is probably his last stop, so it doesn't matter. But if I'm a team principal, I'm like, why would I want to hire a guy that just shit all over his last team principal, who, by the way, rescued him? Say what you want about Christian, rescued him from the fucking scrap heap, rescued him from unemployment, took him from a midfield to a race winner. Like, I mean, he won the race in Sakir, but like, you know what I mean? Gave him a car that could compete. So, I mean, for all his faults, for everything Red Bull did wrong with him, like they also saved his fucking career. And, you know, sending Marco the therapy bill. He's like, you know, I want to do the Mad Men quote. That's what the fucking money's for, bro. Right. How much money did they fucking pay you? Like, anyway, but I'm sure he has a case.
Now, here's I agree with all that. I think what this reads to me as is a guy who is like, this is my last stop here. I'm not, I don't need to, like, I'm not out here trying to get another job. Like, this is kind of my last hurrah. That's kind of what's nice about the Valtteri, you know, the Valtteri Checo thing, is that there is like this sense of, like, even in they did the hot ones.
One last job.
And they were like, they did the hot ones, and they were like, which team were you like okay to leave? Which team were you the most happy to leave? And he was like, yeah, fuck, all right, Sauber, sure, I'll say it. I'll say Sauber. He was like, they just have a I don't give a fuck element. Though, I'll say one more thing in Checo's defense, which is that, yes, if there was all things being level, for sure, him just coming in hot with like, this is what was actually going on, is not classy. But I also think that like the way that he was kind of positioned at Red Bull in those final years was also like he wasn't able to express himself, and he was just kind of like taking it. So this has like I'm finally getting to say my piece element to it. So,
but I think what's happened to Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda is already like, you don't need to say
the evidence is
anything.
There.
You don't need. You can let it just speak for itself.
Right. Does he have to be on Twitter being like, told ya? You know what I mean? He's like, does he need to do that?
Yes.
But I think it's like a manhood thing too. It's like an ego thing. It's like he has to say it. You know?
Right. Somebody was like, there's been our new building manager took over and they raised our rent and all sorts of things have been going wrong. And someone was like, has anyone put in a formal maintenance request? And I just wrote, I left a bitchy voicemail. I don't know if it's going to do anything, but it felt good. You know what I mean?
This clearly he felt so good.
Yes.
You could tell he was like, oh, like this is better than sex for him. This is this is unbelievably good. Okay, so let's get into what was said. We'll start with the I mean, he talked a lot about like his career. He talked about his relationship with Carlos Slim. You know, he convinced Carlos to send him to Europe. You know, he was like, you know, he deals with that relationship. He talks about driving for McLaren. He also, but the most interesting thing is that when he was on Force India, what he says is that he was a creditor for Force India, and that he like was basically helping bankroll Force India. He said, I was one of the creditors that they hadn't paid me. I could put the team into administration so someone would buy it and it wouldn't collapse. Before races, I'd have meetings with lawyers instead of engineers. And he learned a lot about how Chapter 11 and companies work. 90% of the people there today were already there back then, and the people kept their jobs. So he's like basically claiming like the reason that Aston Martin exists is because of me.
That's right. You're welcome.
And not really because of me, because of Carlos Slim. Let's be real. Like, one of the richest people in the world has bankrolled his entire career. But then he gets into the stuff with Red Bull, and he basically talks about like, I got there, and immediately upon arriving, Christian tells me, this is what he said, we run two cars because we have to, but this project was created for Max.
That doesn't really make sense from just a timeline standpoint, because what about Sebastian Vettel and all the years? Did they know that was this whole project created for? Did they know about Max in 2001 when he was 3 years old?
The whole all right. Well, now we're getting into the weeds of the whole project. If you want to be like, get into that, but the feeling of this is why Daniel Ricciardo left, right?
Right.
This was the writing that he saw on the wall.
Yes, for sure.
Is like, this is the golden boy. This is Max's team. And, it's like the project was started for Max. Red Bull Racing obviously was not started for Max Verstappen. He was like a glint in, whoever's eye at the time when the whole thing, when the project was even started. But going into the new reg set.
Right.
This is 2021 because Checo's his first year was 2021, right? It was the final, battle year against Lewis.
Right. But the Max project is an interesting statement. It's just like, then just, if that's true, right? If that's really, and I'm not saying that it isn't, I'm not saying that Christian didn't say this to Pérez.
Right.
But like, and that just maybe speaks to like how many, the bureaucracy and all that stuff. But like, if that's true, why have a second fucking team? Just fucking sell AlphaTauri or VCarb. Like, you got your guy, right? So you're running a second team for what? So you could come up with number 2 drivers to run in the second car that you don't even care about? That doesn't make any sense. If that's the case, why not sell the team and just fucking hire me to run in the second car? Nobody's. Doesn't make sense.
Right.
So but maybe that just speaks to the bureaucracy, and like they're not all on the same page. Like maybe Christian feels that way, but Helmut feels another way. Helmut's like, no. Well, but that's part of Helmut's portfolio. Helmut's portfolio. Christian might feel all about Max. Helmut might feel it's all about, like, Helmut's portfolio is finding drivers. So if it's like they're not finding the next Max Verstappen, what the fuck is Helmut going to do? Nothing.
Right.
So that could speak to that.
Although it is interesting because like what ultimately happened there, because it also speaks to kind of what we assumed, which was that like, Christian being so gung-ho about Max, but then as the fallout of everything happened, Max clearly had favorites that were not Christian. He sided with Marco, and he sided with the Austrian side of thing. It's been a few weeks. Marco announced that he is going to be retiring, and in his retirement, he's also come in fucking guns blazing and ready to, spill some tea as well. And what he said, which was something that we already kind of knew, we all figured this, but to hear it from Helmut's, from the horse's mouth is a different thing. He's talking about his relationship with Mateschitz. He says, together with Didi, I founded Red Bull Racing in 2005. We appointed Horner as team principal, and I was there as supervisor. The power was essentially always in Austria, we decided. I remember a party in 2022 before the Austrian Grand Prix. Dietrich was there. He was not in good health. Christian came up to me and said he won't make it until the end of the year. And from that moment on, he started cozying up to the Thai ownership. When Didi passed away later that year, he did everything to take over with the Thai support. On behalf of Austria, I did everything to prevent that. But those last years with Horner were not pleasant. Filthy games were played.
Filthy games. So filthy games were played like Christian was playing the games. Christian was playing the filthy games. That's what Christian released the WhatsApp messages.
Yeah.
Christian was the one doing that. Yeah. I'm sorry, but whoever did that wasn't Christian. I think it's safe to say that Christian did not release those messages. So the filthy games the filthiest game was not played by Christian.
And this is what the rumors were, that like what's going on behind all of this, what's going on behind these news stories, these very salacious and disturbing news stories, is that there's a power struggle happening here behind the scenes, and this confirms it, which also speaks to maybe why all of this became public. Not that it didn't, not that things were made up or that these things didn't happen, but the reason probably that this became such a public spectacle was because of this behind the scenes situation going on. Struggle. And within there, Max Verstappen sitting in the middle of it, right? And he has to choose to pick a side, and he ultimately chooses the non-Christian Horner side.
Right. And I think also it's important to get the timeline correct. When Christian told me we run 2 cars because we have to, like when he hired Checo, he hired him at the end of 2020, going into 2021. Dietrich was still alive, right?
Yes.
They were all pulling in the same direction.
Right.
Christian was ostensibly number 2B to Helmut and Dietrich. So there was no power vacuum. So they were all pulling in the same direction. And so Christian and Max were probably all on the same page at that point. And it wasn't until there was a power vacuum and Christian saw his opportunity to jump, to grab power, that those fissures started to be created. And I think when Jos Verstappen went out and said, like, you know, it was funny because it was like Christian said when there was like these rumors that Max was going to leave Red Bull, Christian was like, well, you know, no one's bigger than the team. Like, we can survive with that. That was kind of the implication there. And Jos was kind of saying, like, it's actually kind of Christian that's being selfish, right? Christian thinks he's bigger than the team, right? Because this is this scandal, him holding on throughout the scandal makes it seem like he thinks he's bigger than the team. So I think that mindset didn't exist when they hired Checo. I think that sort of emerged after the death of Dietrich.
And I think, it's interesting because then, Checo then talks about that time. He talks about, like, kind of as the last year with Christian and the scandal and everything that he felt like then there was like everyone look over at Checo, look how bad he's doing, look how bad Checo's doing. He's like, as a distraction, which I don't think is necessarily incorrect. I could absolutely see Christian Horner throwing Checo under the proverbial bus in order to distract from everything that was going on with him personally. So that's all definitely seems correct. That passes the eye test of what was being what we saw there. But Checo also talks about kind of like, I think in that the 2021 year when it was just like that was the Max show and Checo was there as support. Oh, Checo's a legend. We all remember it. But then things got complicated as in 2022 and 2023 as Checo started to win races. As Checo started to like have times where he was better than Max. Now it's interesting because this this interview reads there's a copium element to this whole interview, which is kind of like, like I was never supposed to win and I did it anyway and whatever. But we did ultimately see the ways in which he did struggle in the same ways that we've seen other people struggle in that seat eventually. Now he says that there was a crash and he never got he was always on the back foot after said crash, but he basically talked about like Max's temperament and how, if he was beating Max, it was a problem. If he was losing to Max, it was a problem. He felt like there was a no-win situation being in that seat, which I think is true. But
100%.
It's just interesting.
He wasn't beating Max. I think this idea that he was beating Max, even occasionally, near the end, it was almost never.
Yeah.
I think Checo was better than Max at like these street circuits, like Jeddah, maybe Singapore.
Yes.
Baku. Like, those
remember
tracks.
In 2023, right? First race in Bahrain, Max first, Checo second. Second race in Saudi, street track. Max second, Checo wins. Right. Australia, Max wins, Checo gets fifth. China gets canceled. Baku, Sergio wins. Max gets second. And then it became the Max Verstappen show. He won in Miami. He wins in Monaco. He wins in Spain. And then he won, I think, almost every race for the rest of the here. This is the 2023 season.
But I guess in the 22, I guess in that moment, it would, like, in the moment where they're kind of trading wins, it would get tense.
Right.
It would get tense. And at that moment, it would be like, if you're Checo, be like, wow, even when I win, I lose. Right.
Right.
No, that's got to suck. That's got to fucking suck, because when you're. But I think the key for Checo, to Checo being a billionaire, getting Carlos Slim money, was just getting into Q3 at the end. You know, it wasn't like that's what they want. That's what they wanted from him. And that's a really hard pill to swallow. It was like, yeah, it was at the end. It was like he was just getting knocked down in Q1. He was just not there. And yeah, he did better than all the other. He did better than Liam. He did better than Yuki. He did better than Albon and Gasly, probably.
Right.
But to all of those guys' defense, they had less experience.
Yep. And
Checo had the car when it was the best. So that's kind of the mitigating factor there, probably.
Right.
But yeah, no, I don't envy Checo's position, for sure.
No.
I don't envy Checo's position.
And I think it's interesting because he's such like a, despite the fact that he is kind of an F1 journeyman, there's an alpha-ness to Checo because of how just like famous, rich, and like, in Mexico, he is a god, right? Like he's so it's like he's so famous and he's so rich. Unlike some of these other guys, right? Like you would consider other people with similar careers, like a Nico Hülkenberg. Nico Hülkenberg isn't a god in Germany. You know what I mean? Like he's like, so Kevin Magnussen. People know about him.
There's an extra pressure on him.
There's an extra pressure, and there's an extra, like, I think, desire to be like to save face and to, not be embarrassed. And I think what this reads as is that, like, he felt embarrassed by those years, by the end of how it ended at Red Bull, and now he's like trying to save face. Now he's trying to, like, put his shoulders back, stick out his chest, and say, like, yeah, but, like, this is what was really fucking going on. So you might think one thing, but, like, I'm still the fucking... this whole thing reads as, I'm still the fucking man. That's how this whole media campaign reads to me. I'm really curious
to see how... I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention,
Yeah. I'm curious to see how this... Cadillac team does. I've been enjoying the rollout. I'm enjoying Checo and Valtteri as a pair. I'm enjoying the kind of
couldn't have paid me to watch the hot ones with the two of them.
The hot ones was not. It was just like ultimately, it's like I wish they would have just like asked better questions. I don't know. I was watching and I was just vibing with it. I was just vibing with like the old guys with nothing left to lose.
Right.
I'm into like the redemption song of it. Now, we can let's talk a little bit about 2026 because we're getting some intel. There's been some rumblings about what's going on with these 2026 engines specifically. And the news seems to be, I can't tell you exactly what the fuck is happening, so let's not pretend that we're smart enough to understand about the ratios of power and the bending metal under extreme heat, because that's what this is kind of being talked about. But essentially, Red Bull powertrains and Mercedes have found a loophole in these engine regs where they are getting extra power in their engines, which should translate to a couple of tenths, potentially, on straights. And all the other teams are now trying to lobby the FIA to do something about this, and that this loophole is bullshit and it should be against the rules, blah, blah, blah. Now, what it seems like is that the FIA, at least for the beginning of 2026, is not going to do anything about this. that they're like, no, like this is what it is. So if we're reading these tea leaves, Red Bull Racing and the Mercedes cars are going to be a step ahead.
Are they going to beat the shit out of them for probably like 12 races at least?
Yeah.
Until they shut it down.
Yeah.
I mean, this is I feel like I've seen this movie before where they're like, there was I think Bernie Ecclestone did this one year where it's like, oh, so you measure it before the race, but you actually don't measure it during the race. Right, so we'll just make it comply before the race when it doesn't fucking matter. And then during the race, it'll be whatever the fuck we want it to be.
Right.
Because in F1, it's all about the letter of the law. The spirit of the law does not fucking matter.
Yes.
So I'm actually shocked that Audi, it's because, you know what it is? It's because like these guys have never done it before.
Yeah.
It's like first time. Oh, you thought that we were going by the spirit of the law here? No, it's the letter of the fucking law. Right. And it's Mercedes and it's Red Bull.
Yep.
And fucking, I'm surprised Honda got their pants pulled down because they've been at this now for a bit. And I'm surprised that Ferrari got their pants pulled down. This is a layup, dude.
Yeah.
I could have fucking told you this. You know, they measure it at the beginning. Great. Make sure it complies at the beginning. There's certain things where they measure in the beginning, and there's certain things where they measure at the end. Like, dude, when they measure the weight at the end, everyone knows, oh yeah, you're underweight. And then you fucking pick up the gravel. You don't have to be right on the weight before the whole race. You just have to be on the weight when you get to the fucking scale. So you pick up the gravel.
Ask George Russell in Spa 2024.
Right, but they weighed him. Actually, I think they whatever. It doesn't matter. He didn't.
No. I'm saying he wasn't able to do that, so he
wasn't able to pick up the fucking gravel, the marbles. So like, this is like actually pretty elementary stuff. No. The science isn't elementary,
right?
But like the concept of like comply when you need to comply, don't comply when you don't need to comply.
Right.
It's actually pretty fucking simple.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting about Honda is that if we remember, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Honda because Honda was like, we're out. Like, guys, like,
they're such fucking morons. They're such fucking morons because they got out and then they killed it right when they were getting out. Right. They sold right at the high. They sold right before they sold in a dip, and then the stock went high, and then they were like, "Oh, can we buy back in?" And Red Bull was like, "Fuck you, dude. We can't.
Right.
This is a toxic relationship." And now they had to go in with Aston Martin. But if they were just like all in, they could still be with Red Bull.
They could still be with Red Bull. Now, I mean, but it's also like, it's the wishy-washiness of Honda. Honda's relationship with F1 is like the ultimate, just will they, won't they? Like they just,
dude, they sold in 2009. In 2008, they did it for £1, and then they won the fucking championship. How many times are they going to get out at the worst time? They could literally be Mercedes right now.
Yeah.
They could literally be bronze Mercedes right now.
Yep.
They could literally be the engine partner to Red Bull right now, but they playing. But they fucking playing.
Yeah. And this whole Aston Martin project, which has a lot of pressure on it. You know, Fernando Alonso doesn't have a lot of years left. We know about his relationship with Honda in the past. If this Honda engine is shit in 2026, you think Fernando Alonso is going to be like coy about it?
No.
Or do you think he's going to be like, are we going to get a repeat of GP2 engine from Fernando Alonso in 2026? These are the questions.
I actually predict. I have a prediction because I think Honda came in and like. So what Honda did, I don't fucking quote me on this.
Yeah.
But I think what Red Bull did was smart. I think they brought him in first with Toro or Alpha, whatever they were, and then they cycled them over, and it was rough at first. but in 2021 was like, it took them a couple of years, but they got there. They got to a point where they could compete with Mercedes. It wasn't right away.
Yes.
But
and this is what Adrian Newey said about them too. And he was like, what his issues with Renault was that Renault didn't care about like improving the engine. They were just like hyped about like being an F1 engine provider.
Right.
They was like, look, guys, Red Bull. We're with Red Bull. It's us and Red Bull. They were like, getting the Red Bull DRS. But Honda has a commitment to, clearly Honda doesn't care about being in Formula One because they keep trying to not be in Formula One, but something keeps pulling them back in. So like they clearly don't care that much about the boost that Formula One gives their brand. They're more concerned. I don't know what they're more concerned with, but like what Newey has said is like, as long as the team has a commitment to improving the engine and getting it right eventually, then I can work with them. It's just about how much patience Lawrence Stroll and Fernando Alonso and ultimately Adrian Newey, but I think Adrian Newey has like a bit more of that patience than maybe I would
I think you have to have patience with them, but clearly if you're patient with them, they will fucking deliver.
Right.
They have delivered. They delivered in 2021, 2022, 2023. They delivered all these Red Bull years have been Honda years.
2024 and 2025.
Right. Right. They're
it wasn't the engine.
Technically, I think that are they officially Honda? I know they're like.
Oh no, now it's
technically Honda. They're technically Ford, but it's a Honda engine.
Yeah.
They're badged something else now,
right.
But they're doing like a slow crossfade.
Vanka's 2026 is here. It's upon us. The season is coming up soon, and you better put your money down at the start of the season. See if you have a hunch about who's going to win this championship, who's going to win the constructors, who's going to win the drivers, who's going to win in Australia. You can bet right now with BetMGM, and if you have not signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code DADDY, and you will get up to a $1,500 new player offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here is how it works. You download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code DADDY. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game or race. If your bet loses, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Then get access to second chance promos, odds boost tokens, same game parlays, and so much more. BetMGM, make it legendary.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Yeah, well, so then Ferrari is obviously going to be on the back foot, which means the Cadillacs, the Haas's of the world, the Ferraris. Now, although Haas, it seems like Toyota is like, in a couple of years, maybe this will be a Toyota team, based off of some of what's happening over there. But it was for the time being, it's still a Ferrari engine, so they'll be on the back foot. And then obviously Audi, who knows? They did a track day in Barcelona. There was an AI version of a car that people thought was real. But the real, what this whole news story says to me and what gets me hype is that Max Verstappen will be in this shit in 2026 and George Russell. There is a real world.
There we go.
Where Mercedes and Red Bull are the two top teams.
Yep.
And it's George Russell against fucking Max Verstappen, which would make me splooge.
That is. He's the only guy with the fucking gonads. He's the only guy who thinks he could take him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which is what we need.
Yes.
He's the only guy he's like the Jack Russell Terrier that's going after the Rottweiler.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to have a dog that would be very nice to all these little dogs, be friendly. But whenever there was a big dog, oh my God. And my dog was little.
Yeah.
He would try to kill the biggest dog. I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to die. That's George Russell. Yeah. Any dog that was 20% bigger and above, try to murder. It was like, that's George Russell. Jack Russell Terrier. Terrier virus.
Yeah, and this is a little spoiler alert because next week we have an episode coming out with Lower Lap Time. Martin from Lower Lap Time, if you know his YouTube channel, he's a driver coach in Open Formula, and he loves him some George Russell. George Russell, I think, is his favorite driver, and what he said about George is really interesting. He was just like, he's like, George is the only person that shows Max zero respect on track. Like he shows him no respect. Every other driver leaves room, does this. Oh, it's Max. I better, George doesn't care. And I just need to see it. I need to see it. And I think that George is going to be coming. We saw what a great year he had this year. I can't imagine that Lando Norris winning this championship is making him feel good at all.
No.
The fact that the two guys of his generation who have won championships are Max Verstappen, his enemy, and Lando Norris, his victim of bullying.
Yeah.
The kid that he bullies is now above him. Can't imagine he's enjoying any of that. So I think he's going to come in this year on some Nico Rosberg. I am like doing everything in my power to make 2026 the year where I establish myself as being a top guy in this.
Yeah, no, George is furious because George was a first overall pick.
Yes.
Lando was probably like a late first rounder, early second round pick, if we're like, or maybe top 10 pick, but not George was like, if we're like doing it by draft picks.
George was the guy.
George was the number one pick of his draft class. Lando, not maybe a lottery pick. Maybe I'm being mean. Maybe he was a lottery pick, but not.
I think Lando was like a top 5 pick. Lando was a top 5 pick,
but he was not a number 1 pick.
But he was on a McLaren, which at the time was shit. Whereas George was like. Was about to inherit the Lewis seat. This was
right.
The narrative.
Right.
Like yes, Lando has a secured seat, but it's with fucking McLaren. So
right.
Whereas George
and Lando got the secured. Only got the McLaren seat. Like only the best guys get the Ferrari and the Mercedes.
Right. Yes,
seats,
exactly.
Right, because Red Bull's more complicated because they have so many seats for grabs, and they just fire everybody all the time. So like the quality of their prospects is kind of varying, I think. But
right,
yeah, to be a McLaren Junior back then was like not as prestigious as it would be now. And definitely not as prestigious as being a Ferrari Junior or a Mercedes Junior. So yeah, that's got to burn him up. I've been saying this for such a long time, and it's so nice to be vindicated a little bit. I mean, I was just going based on my eyes and my and just like my life experience, right? But I thought of F1 a bit like, you're in a prison yard, right? You gotta like when Max got to F1, he immediately started shanking people and getting into fights, and everyone's like, "Oh, this guy's fucking crazy. We have to give him some room." And I think you have to establish a reputation, and Max has a reputation now. Like, don't fuck with him. I think George has a reputation. Don't fuck with him. And Max doesn't think twice when he sends it on certain motherfuckers. I think, but he definitely thinks twice when he sends it on George. I think he knows if I send it on George, I might not live.
Dude, I need it to happen. I need it to happen so bad.
Yeah.
I've never wanted Mercedes to be good this bad. Like, I just need Mercedes and Red Bull to be like the only two teams in 2026 that like have it going on.
Yeah, it's just sad that Lormecki's too nice. Oh, we're not going to try everything we can to fucking screw up Lando's chances.
Right.
Christian was
just
now
best. Marco's now they're getting Marco out of there too. All the toxicity has left Red Bull.
They can't all be, not every team can be the good guys,
And Yas is not even in the paddock anymore because he's like rallying in fucking Budapest or whatever. Yas isn't even there. The only person with shreds of toxicity left at Red Bull seems to be Max, and even Max is like happy now. Fuck this. He's happy.
This.
Fuck that.
Fuck this. I miss I miss the old Kanye.
But maybe here's the thing. Maybe George. What'd you say?
I miss the old Kanye.
Yeah.
What is it? How does it go?
Yeah, I miss the old Kanye.
I miss the old Kanye. Yeah.
Straight old Kanye.
Yeah.
I hate the new Kanye, the good mood Kanye. Oh no, the bad mood Kanye, the always rude Kanye. Well, the irony of that is that the new Kanye was more toxic than the old Kanye. So now we're
it's actually inverted.
It's inverted, yeah.
It would be like if Kanye became a more balanced person.
Right. Yes, exactly.
But
here's the only hope. The only hope is that George Russell is such a little fuck that he can bring out the toxicity in a Laurent Mekies, in a GP, in a Hannah Schmitz, in a Max Verstappen. He'll certainly bring it out of Max, but can he bring it out of the organization? And will the kind of remnants of will the 2021 leftovers be enough? Certainly for the Mercedes side, they will be. Toto Wolff is going to be doing everything in his power to beat Red Bull if it's the two of them. That the Mercedes side is going to be acting crazy. Will the Red Bull side match their freak? I pray and hope that they will.
It's just like anybody who hates Christian, I get it. What he was alleged to have done, is not a tenable situation. But just from a fan standpoint, from a television standpoint,
purely box office.
Change your fucking car. Right. You're not going to get that anymore. You're not going to get Christian being Johnny Cochran defending the most ridiculous behavior. I mean, everybody's so nice. The only and even Zach Brown was really disappointing in the when Zach Brown was behind and he was bitching at other people.
Yeah.
That was awesome. When Zach Brown was writing the fucking letter about Christian. Zach Brown fucking hated Christian. Christian was such an asshole. He brought out the asshole in Zach Brown. Zach Brown is like, I love both of my drivers equally. No, fuck that.
Right.
Be an asshole. Right. Zach Brown not complaining about anything. Oh, well, the steward said it was fine, so I guess we'll say that it's fine. Fuck that. Christian Horner would print out shit like this Zapruder film and fucking defend all of. Could you imagine? Was Christian there in Spain?
Yes.
Can you imagine if Christian was there for the title push? Would have been crazy. Would have been blockbuster. Although after the scandal, he kind of quiet. He was less out there.
Yeah, I think he had,
obviously
by Spain. By that time, it was also he was slowly losing his grip.
his Sith powers. We need more villains, guys. We need more heels. Everyone's getting too fucking nice. Everyone's too fucking rich.
That's why you need Aston Martin to be good because they are ready.
You need Alonso. You need Alonso and
Stroll. Lawrence Stroll.
We need the villains, please.
That's why you need Honda to fucking be good. You need Honda to figure its engine out so that this Aston Martin team can be the Slytherins that you need. Listen, what is Harry Potter without the Malfoys?
Without Voldemort. You can't have heroes without villains, guys. Can't have heroes without villains. Who's going to do it? The villains don't even
need to be the main characters. It's like someone. I saw this guy do this thing. I told you about it. How much screen time Draco Malfoy got in all 7 of the Harry Potter movies, and it's 30 minutes. He averages less than 5 minutes of screen time per movie, but Draco.
It's eight movies, bro. That they split the last
8 movies
into two movies.
I thought it was 8 movies.
Time out for you, Brian. Time out.
My bad.
I can't believe
that means he averaged 3 minutes, 3 3/4 minutes, 3 minutes and 45 seconds per movie is how much Draco's in there. But Draco, it's when you think of the Harry Potter movies, he's right there.
Bro, Hannibal was only in the fucking Silence of the Lambs for 8 minutes.
You need some villains. You need the villains.
Everybody's too fucking media trained. Everybody's just trying to fucking. It's why you need us. You need assholes.
That's right.
You need. See that you guys don't know what you even if you hate a person, sometimes you need people in there to hate. It just makes everything work, because it's not enough to see people that you love succeed. You need to see people you hate fail.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm here for the Sergio Perez thing, because like right now he's like the only spring of water in the desert of no one talking shit in the Formula One world. You know what I mean? Like
truth.
It's like I'm clinging on to this interview because there's nothing for me to drink in Formula One. Hopefully if McLaren's not good next year, maybe Zach Brown goes back to his previously kind of villainous ways. Maybe Christian
buys his way back into Alpine or whatever.
So there are rumors. According to Planet F1, Renault-backed F1 projects regulatory disclosures show that while Renault is the majority stakeholder, Otro, a minority 24% shareholder, might be willing to sell its stake in the team for around $600 million. They could only sell its stake, though, with prior approval from Renault and or 3 years after the said articles were adopted. So there are rumors that maybe Christian has... I think the rumors that Christian has like a team of investors. He has people ready to throw money in. And even though Briatore has shut this down, it's something to watch. I don't think it's happening imminently, but I do think that there is a world where this does potentially happen down the line.
Yeah. And then you guys can hate fucking...
Yeah, then Alpine would be the ultimate...
The Death Star. Ultimate Death Star.
Yeah, and more potential movement news, not happening immediately, but down the line potentially, is that GP and Aston Martin might be a thing down the line. It's not. There were rumors it was going to happen now. There was rumors that maybe he was going to get the team principal job, but Adrian Newey was like, "I got that. We good." Which obviously we've spoken about previously. We don't think that's the best idea, but there are now more rumors that down the line that Newey really wants GP, and Max has even said things hinting at like, "I care about him as a person, and whatever's best for him is what I want for him." So there is the potential for the GP and Max breakup to potentially happen, or hey, if Aston Martin's good down the line, maybe Max goes with him, and maybe it's a long play for Aston Martin to ultimately get Max Verstappen. Yeah. And that's that. All right, let's talk about these. There's been a couple. F1's doing this new series where Lawrence Barretto goes behind the scenes and visits the drivers in their homes, in their hometowns where they live. So he visited, the two that are out right now are Pierre Gasly and Oscar Piastri. Which do you want to discuss first?
Well, I thought the Oscar Piastri one was released a while ago, but I thought I saw it earlier, but whatever. It was out. People are talking about it now.
Well, we haven't. It was released 8 days ago.
Okay. It was, maybe I saw clips of it earlier. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
Couldn't get through the Oscar Piastri one. I skimmed it. It was, I'm obviously an Oscar Piastri fan, but God damn it. Was that boring. Holy fuck. That was maybe one of the worst interviews I've ever seen. I just don't know. I love Oscar Piastri. I think if the whole point of your brand is that you don't agree to do anything like this, and every interview is like kind of against your will and awkward, right. And like the fact that you would like agree to sit down to do this is like kind of weird. Like
30 minutes with Oscar P. I think of it like a comedy set, like we both used to do stand up, right? It's like 5 minutes. When you start doing stand up, you realize how long 5 minutes is.
Yeah.
When you first get up, you're like, holy shit! Like you
5 minutes at an open mic with other comics that are just waiting for their own waiting to get up themselves. It's tough.
5 minutes
it's a lifetime.
Can be long. And then it's like, okay, well, there's 10 minutes. Going to 30 minutes. 30 minutes is a fucking lifetime. 30 minutes with Oscar Piastri felt like I watched 5 minutes of it and it felt like it was 30. So it was definitely
well,
he's so cute though. He's so sweet. Like he's trying, right? Like he's wearing this like monster hat and he's like, yeah, like I live in Monaco now. Like it's pretty cool. Like yeah, like my life's pretty cool. They get into his like nice ass McLaren. And he's like, yeah, one of the perks of the job, pretty cool. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The two
like
most
you see him in a supercar and it's so funny because he's going 3 miles an hour. Like it's like, what is the point of a supercar to be stuck in bumper to bumper traffic?
That's the irony of Monaco, is that like all the only cars people drive there are like cars that can go 175 miles an hour, and they are going 5 miles an hour around the fucking, the tight streets and crowded streets of Monaco.
Lawrence Brodo was like sitting there like, this is awesome. I'm like, is it awesome going 5 miles an hour in a fucking McLaren? Like, I don't think it's awesome at all.
Yeah.
It was just funny. You just hear him just creeping.
Yeah.
That's so fucking stupid. Like, obviously it's cool that he's an F1 driver and he has a McLaren, but like, it was just kind of awkward.
Let's drive. It's like, hey, drive out of Monaco into the south of France and let that puppy fucking, run.
Let's get this bitch on the Autobahn. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing? And then they were like, it was like they didn't think I don't think they thought the whole thing through, because like, then they took him like, they're like, oh, you're a big RC car guy. And he was like, well, when I was like a kid.
Right.
And then he was like, and then you see him like kind of sucking at it.
Yep.
And he's like, well, I'll get it. And then it was like very awkward. Like, we could flip back and forth, like, but Pierre, they did it at his home, so you got a flavor of like what his apartment was like,
because what you felt it's a great comparison with Pierre, because Pierre like is in Milan, he doesn't live in Monaco, and
like all these other
Pierre,
bitches.
Like, Pierre fucking loves Milan, and he said he was like he fucking loves it. He's like I moved here and like everyone's so hot, like oh my god, like everyone's dressed so fucking well, everyone's so hot, it's like crazy how hot everyone is. Like he was like everyone here is so hot from 15. I was like, what? And he goes to 75. Everyone. He was like he gave the whole age range. He was like, everybody's bringing it. I was like, okay, Pierre. He's like, you see grandmas out on the streets and you're like, damn. I was like, okay, he's saving it at the end. I guess it's okay to lech after 75-year-old women. I guess that's okay. And then no, because I could absolutely see Pierre Gasly dating a 75-year-old woman. It's like he's just like Italian fashion designer who's just like fucking old and hot,
just like him and May Musk just hanging out. But I think that like. No, because it was like, because like Oscar hadn't been to that RC track, whereas like Pierre was like, let's go shopping to my favorite fucking place. And
Oscar like, barely has lived in, like Oscar's just moved there. So he's like, he's like, oh, like here's Monaco. It's like I'm new in town, as opposed to, so it didn't have that homey feel. The most interesting parts about the Oscar one was that in the beginning he said that he gets his hair cut by Charles's mom,
and
that Charles's mom doesn't speak
English, and she's English.
A lick of English, which is amazing. That Charles's mom speaks no English.
So that they just sit there. They have they don't talk when he gets his hair cut, which is probably amazing. Like they have so much they could talk about,
right?
But they can't, and they don't.
Yes. Right.
Which is awesome.
So Charles's mom does Oscar's hair, and then at the end, he's standing on the like they're like at this, like they go on a hike. He and Lawrence go on a hike, And, Oscar's wearing like his like shorts and like a tight black t-shirt. It's so funny. He's so cute. And then he's up there and then like you hear an engine rev. And then he was like, oh, that's Lando's GT3 or whatever. You like name some car. And Lawrence is like, ha ha ha. And he's like, seriously, that's Lando's car. That's Lando's car. Which is like, here's what's interesting. I'm like,
he
Oscar,
can't escape
don't live in Monaco. Move to Milan with Pierre.
No,
He
can't. The tax breaks are too good. That's what the tax breaks are too good. Pierre can't live in Monaco. I looked this up. Pierre can't live in Monaco because French citizens are not allowed to live in Monaco. They don't get they can. They just don't get the tax break. Because if French citizens were allowed to get the tax break, fucking every French person would move to Monaco. So like,
interesting.
That's why the French drivers like Esteban and
Pierre,
they don't live there. I'm sure Isaac can't live there either. So that it's like it's a huge disadvantage from a financial standpoint. I'm sure if Pierre could live in Monaco, he fucking would
want to live in Monaco. Yeah,
because the tax. Just like, could you imagine the taxes are just you can't.
And certainly Italian taxes are not.
They're. I looked them up. They're high.
Yeah, they're very.
They're high. And the top tax rate, it might not be as high as the American tax rate, but it gets in very quickly. Like the second you reach a very low threshold, you're taxed at the top rate. So he's. Well, because I think he actually moved to Milan when he was from the AlphaTauri days.
Yeah.
So he's been there a long time. So that is home for him.
Yeah. No, the Pierre one was great. I mean, it was hilarious that they get there and Pierre's like, yeah, this is my house. He's like, it's pretty cool. He's like, we had to take all the rugs out because Simba just pissed and shit all over all the rugs. So we had to throw out every single rug that we had. I was like, amazing. Of course, Pierre's dog is like not potty trained.
Oh yeah. It didn't look like that professionally done. It looked nice.
It's definitely a boy apartment. There's like jerseys everywhere.
Yes.
He's got like 8 Mbappe jerseys. He's got like Michael Jordan shit. He's got like it's like, how many Mbappe jerseys do you need hanging up? You know what I mean? Like I think 1 or 2 dozen. It's like I've got 5.
Think we get
He's my favorite guy.
But I mean, it's like, that an interior decorator didn't really do anything. I don't think he had an interior decorator. Or you think he did?
I'm sure they had someone, but I don't think that just because you had one doesn't mean that it's necessarily good. You know?
But what's weird, but not what's weird, but what is telling is like, Kika doesn't have a lot of power yet.
Right.
Yeah,
it still definitely it definitely felt like Pierre's house.
Yes. It did not feel like you can kind of tell who's got certain powers in the relationship when you walk into the apartment. Yeah. Like I walk into your apartment, I'm like, well, Brian had no say in any of this.
Yeah, you go to my apartment, you're well aware that you're like, oh, another painting of your girlfriend. You had 5 paintings of your girlfriend. Those are all that you.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but by the way, like I feel like most men just let their significant other girlfriend do it. They're like, whatever.
Yeah.
But not Pierre though. He's like, I want. Like he also brought up, he's like, Kika's mad because I have like 100 shoes, and then Lawrence Barretto was like, well, I have 160, and Pierre's like, I'm gonna say, well, Lawrence has more than I do.
And she's going to be like, yes, and? I'm not dating Lawrence Barretto.
I'm not dating Lawrence Barretto. I'm dating
your goddamn shoes. He's got the hair. The hairline is pushed. The hair's pushed forward. It's not fully taken yet. There was talk about him, having a few things done. But he was looking cute.
Didn't somebody out him? Didn't Max out him, or somebody outed him for like going
someone
to Turkey?
outed him.
Max, Max outed him.
No, but he was looking cute, and he was talking about he wants to get into fashion. He has these desires outside of F1. He's talked previously about how he respects Lewis a lot because he looks up to Lewis because of Lewis is outside of F1 endeavors, and that's clearly something that he's interested in. He wants to be like a baller, like Pierre wants to be like a legend. He wants to be like the most interesting man in the world a bit.
Right. He wants to be a Dos Equis guy for sure.
Yes,
I love the painting in his. See, this is why I'm like, why couldn't we see Oscar's apartment? Like,
right.
Even if there was nothing in it, it would be fun. Like, there was something so fun in seeing Nick DeVries's sad apartment. You know what I'm saying? Remember Nick DeVries was like, yep, this is my apartment. Like, this sucks.
He's like, yeah, I technically live in Monaco. Here it is. I sleep here. I don't know if I live
was
here,
awesome.
I sleep here.
Because it was like, you could tell that like $1 million apartment is like a fucking closet in Monaco. It's nothing. And then they're like in this shitty little weird little Jeep. And they're like, yeah, Lamborghinis are so ostentatious. Yeah, they're not classy at all. It's like they're so jealous.
Right.
But Pierre had this giant fucking painting of him beating Lewis Hamilton to the line.
Yeah.
It was so amazing. I was like, that is such an epic. It's like someone sent me this painting. I was like, yeah, baby, give it to me.
Yeah.
It was like him beating Lewis.
Yeah.
That was like amazing.
And then they talk about
someone should make a painting of us being like 7th on the Spotify charts, and then I'll just like put it up there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's this moment where they go to like a clothing store, and they go to like buy a jacket, and what did he say to Barretto?
Well, Barretto was like putting on the jacket. He's like, yeah. And I couldn't believe I thought they were just going to like, that's what I loved is I thought he was going to be like, this is my favorite store. And Pierre, like, you see him checking out with he buys the fucking bomber jacket. That bomber jacket had to be like $4 or $5 grand. And then Barretto looked at the price. He's like, well, how much does that cost? And then Pierre was like, better not to put that in the video. I'm glad that like all cultures kind of understand that would be a tacky bad thing to do.
Right.
That's kind of globally you're not going to tell people how much I spent on this jacket. Right. It's probably going to be in poor taste.
The Pierre one was great. They talked about his relationship with Esteban. More just like they won't say why they hate each other.
It's so frustrating. Just fucking say it.
He just says he's like, yeah, and then one race, like things went bad. And then and I'm like, you come on, tripod. What really happened? Tripod?
Yeah. You're going to tell us that your middle school nickname was Tripod, but you won't tell us the fucking crossing the Rubicon.
That you had a fallout
moment?
With your best friend because of something that happened on track. I don't think so.
Well, you think it was a girl?
I mean, that's the rumor. That's what the fans want to believe.
Brian.
That's the heated rivalry.
Oh my God. Brian, how many girls did we Brian, it doesn't even make any sense because like how many girls did we fight over in middle school? Doesn't even make sense.
I mean, just because we survived that doesn't mean that we weren't also then competing on track. You know what I mean? It's all in there.
Right. That's true.
We weren't going for one seat of a podcast. I don't know. Who knows? Right. It just feels like there was one race where you guys were, shady with each other, and then no longer friends forever.
Right, like Leclerc and Max don't fucking hate each other, and they had the incident.
There must be more to the story.
We must get to the bottom. I don't know if it's a
girl. I don't know what it is, but there's more than just one race it went bad.
Right.
All these guys have a real sense of what happens on track stays on track kind of thing. You know what I mean? They don't seem to hold grudges in that way. It's other shit.
I think it's family stuff too. I think their families probably don't fuck with each other, and Yeah.
It was interesting, but it's nice that they like, at least they don't like, he doesn't deny it. He's like, he's like, yeah, it's like maybe down the line we'll be able to kind of really bury the hatchet one day, but it's still special. This, it is cute. Like when they did get that double podium for the French team, that was a cute moment. It was then followed by like them firing Ocon, being like, fuck out of here. Or maybe that even happened before it, but anyway, no, I'm intrigued by the series. I wish I need it to be more about their life like right now. I maybe it's just because like I know a lot of the other shit. Like I don't need them talking about like their rookie year and like going through their entire history. I want you can do a little bit of that, but like most of these 30-minute things is just like them talking about other moments in their career. I'm like, show me Pierre's bathroom.
I like show me where you go shopping. Show me where you get your pastries. Show me. I like the Pierre one was so much better. I'm like, Oscar, I didn't really feel like I got anything.
No, they went to an RC track that he had never been to.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah.
But no, more to come there. We'll talk with them as they come out. Next week we got our king from Lower Lap Time, Martin, on the pod. It's a great episode. It's a long one. We get into the weeds. He talks to us about racing lines, what different driving styles, which drivers have. It was a great episode. So get on that. Make sure you're subscribed. And of course, this podcast would not be possible if it wasn't for our daddies of the pod. So, we got to thank them. We got to thank Kayla, Robin, Jordan Texera, Jay Lingle, Spencer Grieve, Javier Mera, Sheila Valeri, Chandler, Alex Santana, Carla, Carlo, Kimberly, Whalen, Alonso, My Face 69, Donnie Denad, Deadbeat Daddy Muhammad, Jimmy, Kimmy, sponsored by Mommy of the Pod, Hollister 584, Delusional Science Fan, Kat, Future Dog Tour Dion, Steph Grossi, JB Fresh, Laura, Emily Gillenwater, Cody Hulls, My F1 Daddy, Branch W, Keep Up the Science Hate, Hunter Scruggs, Salmonella Mozzarella, I'm a Leclerc fan, and yes, it hurts. Jay Kess, George Russell is evil Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3. Matt Edwards is always right. I wish I was Max and Danny's love child. Jelani Andrews, Henry Kasky, Miles Lewis, Alexander, Maggie B, Caleb Breyer, Eve the Y, Devin, a.k.a. the future Dr. Sullivan's PA, Courtney Frazier, Yuka Sonoda's other mother. Jenny is the reason I am a daddy. Megan, Aaron, Pineapple the Y, Matt has a secret boner for Carlos Sainz. Unfortunately, it's Gary. Carolina, my name is AJ, and fuck the HOA. K-Mac can fuck smash my door any day. The official F1 race program and its executive editor, Sarah. I got tickled by the Tifosi. Hey, Jet, good luck out there. Allison Sane, Zhuge, F1 Dude Company, Trent Slickman, Code Brown Sonoda, Jerome Ferreira, Calapito is a fraud. Aaron, Shahid, Jeans Rockstar Chohun, who won our fantasy league for 2 years in a row. This guy is on a Max Verstappen run. Shout out, Shahid, Jeans Rockstar Chohun. Shake and Bake, Gotta Lick My Balls, Save Fear, Charles Leclerc, Truthbringer, Mama Burns, Arthur Leclerc is hotter, Car Lost Science, OP Goblin, Right Meow, James, DNCTT, Finny, Daddy Kev, Not Magnuson, Mike, Bavi, Lana Norris's unofficial girlfriend, My Guy, Crush, Winkin, Lizzie Y, Jafar from afar, Stroll paid the troll toll to get in the boys' hole. Honorary Daddy of the Pod, this week, every week, Nicole Piastri. If you want to become a Daddy of the Pod, go to patreon.com/TRFpod, become our benefactor today. Join the resistance. We will see you next week, Venkas. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Venkas.